I wish I'd thought of just using the hot glue to begin with, but never mind. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So I thought I would do something a little bit different today, and I know this format has been quite popular with beauty gurus, and a lot of other crafters I think have tried creating things that a wheel has chosen for them. And I thought it was a really interesting concept, so I thought I'd give it a go myself. But I want this to be a proper challenge for myself. So I have one wheel that has what I'm going to actually make on it. It has some safe choices, like I can decide what I want to make. There's some more varied choices, like something for the bathroom or for the garden. And then there's some very specific things like a lampshade. I also have another wheel made up which tells us what I have to make that craft out of. And because obviously it's a challenge, I don't want to make it too easy on myself. There are things up there like food. How am I going to make a table out of food? And I also have a wheel telling us how much I'm able to spend, and that ranges from absolutely nothing to £65 I think. And I can go below the budget, I just can't go over it. And because whatever it is that I end up making, I want to actually, for it to look good, I'm going to try my best. I do have another wheel with a simple yes or no answer, and that basically gives me the choice to use any other materials, so decorative things, so like paint and stuff like that, and also anything structural that would help, so maybe a wireframe or something that isn't listed in the materials, just to really give us a fighting chance, because some of the choices are really hard. But obviously that could end up in a no and I would just be screwed. And when it comes to the construction, although I'm going to make it out of a very specific material and I've still got a yes or no answer, I'm still going to be able to use like screws, nails, glue, anything that can join one thing to another thing. Otherwise it's just going to be far too difficult for us. For example, if I ended up having to make a lampshade out of food with no budget and I wasn't allowed to use any structural parts or any painting or decorating or anything, I don't know what I would do. Anyway, I'm going to find out what I'm going to be making in today's episode and spin that wheel. Please, something good. So that's something for the kitchen. Right, so we're starting off broad. I like it. I'm off to a good start. Right, let me prepare my next wheel. These wheels are expensive, that's why I only have one. Okay, I'm not rich. Right, let's find out what I'm going to be making this random kitchen item out of. And spin that wheel. Foam. Bollocks. Ah, this is shit. It's not what I wanted wood. I'm writing this down, so something for the kitchen made out of foam. Right, let's see how much I can spend on this random foam kitchen object and spin that wheel. Oh, 55 quid, that is good. That is not bad at all. So I can go under £55, I just can't go over. I am not worried about that at all. That's perfect, thank God. Right, okay, and now I can see if I can use any extras, so for decoration purposes and structural support. So let's spin that wheel. Yes! Oh, nice one. Oh, that's great. That's giving us a fighting chance. Right, so I have to make something for the kitchen. I'm not sure what I'm going to make yet. I'm going to have a good old think. It has to be made out of foam. I've got a budget of £55 and I can use things for like structural support. It just has to be predominantly made out of foam. So give us a couple of weeks, or probably a few weeks, because I've got a lot of other things to do. And then I'll meet you back here and we can find out what I've decided to make. And we'll see if I succeed. Right, I'm back and it's been a couple of weeks and I've had a good old think on what it is that I want to make out of foam. And it was a difficult one, I really struggled, but I decided that I'm going to make a bread bin, and I also wanted to challenge myself to make a kitchen utensil holder as well while I was at it. Because I thought a bread bin is just too simple, so we're going to do two things. Actually, technically we're going to do three things, because I'm going to make two utensil holders out of different kinds of foam. Yep, I'm really pushing myself. But in order to make them objects, I need my materials, so it's time for an adventure. Hit it! Right, I'm just on my way to Dunelm because if I remember rightly, last time I was there they had some foam and I think it's used for couches or chairs or something like that. So I'm going to try and get some of that and hopefully it's not over budget either. I'm also worried that it might be slightly too thick as well, so we'll soon find out. Built a new Lidl. Fancy. Well, it's not fancy at all, actually. Right, we're here. It's just increasingly becoming one of my favourite stores. They have so many things. Unfortunately, with shopping though, you have to see other people and talk to other people and socialise. We'll head in and see what we can find, and hopefully I won't get sidetracked and buy loads of other things that I don't need. So much stuff. There's literally so many things, I want everything. I think the foam's down here. This is kind of perfect. Right, which ones will be best? I think they're £6 each, so we're not over budget. No, I'm just gonna leave with the foam. I'm gonna get carried away and then I'll have no money left. Done. And it came in under budget. I think I spent about £12 in total. Right, back to the studio. So now that I've got my materials to work with, it was time to measure and cut the foam, and I was aiming for a square-shaped bread bin, and I'm also going to make a lid for it too. And I also repeated the same process for a matching utensil holder. And once I'd got all them cut to size, I decided to glue it all together with PVA for some strange reason, and stacked a ton of books on it haphazardly, and just hoped for the best. And surprisingly, it actually held together, but there were still some parts where they were coming away at the seams. So I whipped out my hot glue gun and fixed up some of the areas. I wish I'd thought of just using the hot glue to begin with, but never mind. But I did use hot glue for the utensil holder, so points for me. And because I wanted to challenge myself, I actually wanted to make another utensil holder out of expandable foam. And I actually have a lot of experience with this material. I did a whole installation for my final year of my MA, and all the main bodies of these sculptures were made out of the expandable foam, and you just carve it down. It's a really, really nice material to work with. And obviously here you can see that it just inflates and inflates and expands and expands. It's magic. Well, it's not magic, it's science. And after that was set, there was still a few gaps in it, so I just went back over with the expandable foam in some of the holes and just filled them in, ready for carving. Obviously, when I did this, I didn't think of how I'm going to get the glass jar out of the foam. Should have maybe thought of that beforehand. Maybe use some cling film, some Vaseline, create any kind of barrier to help us, but no, I didn't do that. So I struggled away with a knife trying to cut this piece of foam away from the glass, which wasn't ideal, and I eventually ended up having to cut all the way down one side of it just in order to get the glass out of it, but it did eventually work. It just took a lot longer than it should have. And now that I got the glass jar out, it was just time to carve it down into the shape that I want it to be and to make it look a little bit tidier and a little bit more presentable. So now that I've got 3 foam objects built, the bread bin and 2 utensil jars, I decided to spray paint them with an orange and pink gloss spray paint. And my idea for this is I wanted to create a psychedelic, kind of crazy colour combination so it would complement the foam so it just didn't look like really random. And I probably picked the windiest day to do this, which was hard. And obviously all the grass stuck to the foam, so I spent a long time picking bits of grass and dirt off it. And they're fully dry now, and I've got them here. So this is the first utensil one made out of the foam that I got at Dunelm. This is the expandable foam one, and as you can see it's got a giant cut down the middle of it. And I also have the bread bin here, but inside it's still a bit blue. But I don't want to leave it at that. I've got some decoration to do to these two, and I also want to decorate this one, and I want to add some hinges so I've got an actual operating door. I don't know how that's going to work, but we're going to find out. Right, and so you can see there's still a little bit of grass left over on the top. It's just a bit of extra texture. Right, I bought these small little hinges, and I think I overestimated how small they were going to be because they're tiny. I don't think they're going to work. I'm going to try and glue these on So I've got an operating door. I nearly stuck it on upside down there. I don't think this is going to work. Right, I think they're stuck on. Let me just test it out. The handle's fallen off. Oh, one of the hinges just doesn't want to stick, man. Right, while I wait for that glue to dry, because I think I'm just taking it off too soon. It's fallen off again. This hinge is working fine. It's this one I'm having problems with. You know what? Scrap it. I'm not going to use the hinges. Shit. Right, I'll have to use that hinge because that one's well stuck on. Why won't this one stick on as well? Let's give it another go. So much glue on that, it should work. We'll just wait. Well, I'll just wait. Right, I've set that to one side while it dries because I think I'm just being a bit too impatient. And we'll start on decorating this. And yes, this one has big holes in. I know, I got carried away when carving it. And because I'm taking this challenge very seriously, I bought foam letters. And carrying on the playful psychedelic nature of them, I'm just going to do some crazy colours for decoration. I think it's going to look nice. No, I don't. I'm just lying to myself. How do you spell utensils before I screw this up? Now you know what to put into it. Right, I'm going to repeat that for this one as well. Right, let's check on this bread bin, see if this is dry now. Okay, I think I just hot glued that corner together because the hinge doesn't actually move. But you know what? It's staying on. I'm taking it. It's a win. Right, we need to decorate this one the same way so it matches. And there we go, bread. And here it is, my lovely bread bin and utensil holders in all its glory. And although they may not be that practical, and although they may not be that attractive, I do think I did a pretty decent job considering what I had to make and what it was out of. It could have been better, but it could have been a lot worse. But let me know in the comments below if you were set with a challenge to make something out of foam for the kitchen. What would you make? And I am thinking about making the Mystery Craft Challenge a little mini series on the channel. So if you do want to see another episode, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and let me know down in the comments if you do want to see another one. Because I did have a lot of fun thinking outside of the box and working with different materials and coming up with different things that I would never have thought of. And it 100% was a challenge. It definitely wasn't easy. And you never know, you might see them foam creations in the background at some point. It depends how I feel later on. Anyway, I'll see you next week for a brand new video. Bye!